Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to make the argument that Kirby is actually Nintendo's flagship franchise. Here's why. For Kirby's 20th anniversary, they made this Wii collection with a museum, with episodes of the anime, with brand new challenge rooms, and like 8 different games. For Mario's 25th anniversary, they put a SNES ROM on a disc and called it a day. So, yeah, Kirby OTP.
To be fair, that SNES ROM was a collection of a bunch of other games.
From 1991.
I'm sorry, but like, when you just said, and here's why, my brain immediately jumped to all those H-Bomber Guy ripoff thumbnails where it's like, this is my hot take, and here's why.
So anyway, Kirby's recently done that jump to 3D, so we're going to talk about that 3D Kirby game.
That wasn't 3D.
No, it's
finally.
Oh yeah. Also,
no, this is totally.
Also, I'm here. Hi. I'm typecast as the Kirby guy, so that's fine.
Yeah,
that showed up here.
That's gonna stick with you for the rest of your life.
That's fine, man. This is my year. All that time and energy. It's paying off this year, and then next year I'll fall back to obscurity. It's fine.
Small indie creator Ant Dude is really hitting tough times since making the transition to 3D.
That's right.
Wait, you were a 2D entity before this?
I was.
Look at the thumbnails.
And then it hit 500K, and then it all went downhill after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The funny thing about the rough time since his jump to 3D meme for Sonic is that Sonic's been in 3D for most of his life at this point. So, like, it's just more Sonic is a bad franchise is what that says.
It's not even
just
accurate.
A fun... Sorry, you go?
I would say it's not even accurate because both Adventure 1 and 2 reviewed well at the time.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun statement to upset the Sonic fans.
The camera's over here.
Yeah.
Guys? Okay.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, those who are not on board with Kirby, Kirby has been in 2.5D for the last eternity. And only this year has he actually graduated to moving in 3 dimensions outside of a racing game. So
are you trying to erase Kirby's blowout blast?
I was gonna say I don't want this video to be hit by the actually.
Oh, we don't care.
All right, whatever game you're talking about, I ain't never heard of. So
most people have.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, I have to ask, what is that?
It's just so in Robobot there was a mini game where Kirby moved in 3D technically, but it was basically just like a puzzle game. Then they did like here's the same game, but it's $5 on the 3DS eShop.
If it was a puzzle game, would it have been top down?
It was kind of top down.
Do you jump at all?
Yeah.
So I guess it's
as much as
3D.
it's as much as a 3D game as Kirby's Dream Course is an isometric platformer.
I mean,
yeah, they ended up sort of making it out to be like a remake of Dreamland because there's no copy abilities. You fight like almost all the same bosses. All the music is there.
Kirby's Dream Course. That's Sonic Labyrinth Good Edition, right?
No, it's a golf game.
It's golf.
So Sonic Labyrinth Good Edition, right?
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, Labyrinth is golf, I guess.
We're gonna fight after this.
You know, Sonic Labyrinth is a much better game if you look at it through the lens of it's actually a golf game. Most games get better when you realize that they're golf games.
What?
I forgot.
Oh God, I'm 3 minutes in and I want to leave.
I forgot Kirby 64 had the giant head mouth.
The gaping maw attack.
Oh yeah, we've done this game before. I don't give a shit. Anyway, moving on.
But no, because it's different this time because I actually played the game since doing that last commentary.
We did.
And I think I can add a little more flavor.
It was also like 10 years ago too. So
it was also 10 years ago. To be fair, yeah.
When did we do Kirby 64 last?
It was like one of the first things I
ago.
recorded, so it had to be like 2012 or something.
I want to see the comments that are going to be like, I liked the old playthrough better.
Oh,
this is something I learned. Like,
what? I didn't even know you could do what?
You can lift them out of your mouth, and then like the Brontoberts make you fly. I think some of the other ones do other things.
Wow.
But yeah.
Holy cow! All right, I'm glad I stayed.
If our old commentary is that old, I would seriously question anyone who liked the old commentary better because I've watched our older commentaries. The audio quality is something.
2009 was a different time, man. All right.
The list doesn't end with the amount of like technical stuff that was just wrong with the previous commentaries, and I'm glad we've learned a lot since then.
Well, we've learned a lot, and they've also just released better stuff for us to use. So
this ended up being my favorite of the Dark Matter trilogy. It's what fans call it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
It still has the fundamental issues I had with it, starting with Dreamland 2 and 3, where less emphasis was put on power-ups and more about like just the cozy nature of the atmosphere is what I
It's
took
about
from
those
it.
hashtag vibes.
Yeah, it's about the vibes, but I thought it was too vibey, if that's a word, and I didn't find it as replayable as Superstar or even Kirby's Adventure.
can I ask a question?
No.
Thank you.
Original joke.
I just want to know what Truth from Full Metal Alchemist is doing here.
Oh, Waddle Bit?
Oh,
No, I'm talking about the black mass with the eye on it. Like,
Oh, that's
Jesus.
dark. That's Dark Matter. He's a
Yeah.
dick. That's his
know.
lore.
I was making a joke.
I don't know Full Metal Alchemist, so. Oh, I'm trying to get my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh no, I only got ice cream.
Oh no.
You don't know
Damn.
Full
Gonna be
Metal
a long
Ice cream
Alchemist.
again.
Heresy.
Listen,
Okay.
all right, I need to get my foil Black Lotus and sell it for $5, and then
That's
regret
magic.
the day 20 years later when I realize that thing's worth more than a house.
It's funny because it's true.
It is.
imagine going to the bank and getting like a first time homeowner's mortgage just for a Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah, just like, okay, so Mr. Ortiz, it is. Yes, could you please tell me the purpose for this loan? Yeah, so I want a Blue Eyes White Dragon from Series 1, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, Hookers and Blow.
If you thought you could make it as a professional Magic the Gathering player, then that might actually be a worthy investment.
Now, there's
But
actually not really that much
You're not
money
getting
in
that.
competitive
You're
Magic.
not getting that card to play with it though.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get into the collector's market for anything, it just becomes a
It's like play with
minefield.
the card. No, buddy.
How
I wanna
much?
fuck that
So,
card.
Ant, you were doing some stuff like with selling some used games.
Yeah.
How much was the collector's edition of Fire Emblem Fates worth?
Oh God! I mean, now it's probably close to 500. And that's with the 3DS eShop still being up.
Okay.
I am very excited for next year.
Because like people are getting ready.
I am very excited.
Imagine
As someone
spending
who,
$500 to buy the worst 3DS Fire Emblem game.
that's the best part. I'll have no remorse selling it because I
Yeah,
won't
same.
want to play it.
Yeah, because I have that collector's edition. It's like I'm just waiting for the shop to go down.
I follow that stuff pretty regularly. I have that, and then I have the Breath of the Wild misprint, which I don't think a lot of people
There's a Breath of the Wild misprint.
even know about. For Wii U, the initial print had a controller misprint on the back where it said like, "Oh, it uses Wiimote Nunchuck Classic Controller. It uses everything."
Yeah.
So if you look up on eBay, Breath of the Wild Wii U misprint, it's already like 150, 200.
Is this like how that one version of Final Fantasy VII, where like the text is kind of like squished in, is worth like an extra $20?
Oh, maybe.
Seriously?
I don't know about that one. I would believe it though.
There's like I remember I miss cons, by the way. There was a convention and I was looking at some used game stall and they had two different versions of Final Fantasy VII there. And one was like 30 and one was like 50. And I was like, why is this one more expensive? They look like they're in the same condition. It's like, oh, if you look on the back, it's like, so this version's worse. So that means it's worth more money.
Yeah, that sounds.
Paying more to acknowledge someone's fuck up, like, is a very weird
It just means
reason to buy a game.
It just means it's a rarer printing. That's all.
Well, there's the Resident Evil Revelations on 3DS that says like
Revelatons.
Revelatons.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, you see, that
Revelatons.
one
I
is
still have
better
mine.
because it's just funny. That Capcom, because
Yeah.
Capcom has made spelling mistakes on the covers of their games multiple times.
Yeah, isn't there like a Capcom on one thing?
I've had my buddy Linky send me a physical copy of like the GameStop pre-order for Mega Man Zero because they added an N to Mega and it's Megan.
Megan
Megan
Man.
Oh, Megan Man?
Megan Man
Also,
Zero.
also
Yeah.
never forget the time they released a comic with the IGN logo on it.
That's one of the all-time greats.
Mega
that's a
Man
classic,
just sounds like robot shake and bake. I don't know.
The thing that's crazy with the IGN logo is it's also upside down.
Wait, why is it
Isn't
upside
it?
down?
What?
Like, I'm pretty sure it is. It's just a complicated insanity.
Man, yeah, but at what point does it stop being funny and it starts being the Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow Collector's Edition? Or like,
The
Greatest
wait,
Batman
cover
Game of
on
the
a
Year
cover?
edition.
Yeah. Like at what point does it stop? Oh god, I forgot that they put a vagina into Kirby 64.
Oh yeah, I forgot she draws a dick. Like she just straight up just draws something. I don't know what this is. Yeah, it's so weird because I think like the weirdest sort of like observation I made with 64 after playing it is that it ends up taking a lot from Dreamland 3.
Dreamland 3 is
Yeah.
a prototype for 64.
Yeah, it really is. Like in retrospect, Dreamland 3 really is just prototype 64, but like this game wasn't that far off from Dreamland 3 because even though Dreamland 3 was a late Super Nintendo game,
It was like
this
1997,
game is essentially just a
1998.
street. Yeah, it was like a 97.
And this
Super
game
Nintendo
came out
This-
like 2001-ish.
Yeah.
Because this was
That's
also
about a
a
4-year
late
gap.
N64 game too, which is part of
Yeah.
why it looks gorgeous. This is one of the best
So
looking
was
games
it?
in the
Do you think it's because a lot of people didn't play Dreamland 3, and they figured, okay, we could just take what people liked about this and just repurpose it for this?
Well,
and
as far as
hopefully
I
nobody would notice.
remember, is Dreamland 3 and 64 Sakurai didn't have anything to do with. He did Superstar, and then I think
He's
a different
on the
team did Dreamland
credits.
3.
I think he's like a...
he had
Well, yeah,
nothing
yeah,
to
'cause
do-
he's still
yeah, but as like,
responsible,
yeah,
but-
he's still like a producer.
But like
something.
he
had
worked
no-
on Superstar. I don't think he
Yeah.
really did anything on.
He had nothing to do with Dreamland 2, 3, and 64.
I think he
It
only
was-
came back with Air Ride. I think he came back to.
Air Ride was the last one he directed.
Okay,
And
hold
then
on.
he-
I
then-
need
yeah.
to I need to complain a little bit about Sakurai's Kirby bias for a moment because in Smash Brothers 4 and in Smash Brothers Ultimate, there are no remixes from any Kirby game past I think it's like past 64. And
There's a Amazing Mirror remix in
oh,
Ultimate.
okay, there's an Amazing Mirror remix. Okay. There's
I
that.
want to say the Squeak Squad theme is there too.
The Squeak Squad remix is Squeak Squad is the newest game in Smash Brothers to have a Kirby remix. That remix was from Brawl. The Brawl Squeak Squad remixes. I'm just saying, there's a lot of really big songs from Return to Dreamland onward that they just refuse to remix. But we can get 2 more King Dedede's themes. Sure, we can remix Meta Knight's theme 6 times, but no, can't.
there's a.
acknowledge
I
mean,
other
think
Kirby
there's a
themes.
city trial remix.
Oh, that doesn't count. City Trial.
Well, Sakurai worked on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sakurai
So
doesn't want to
second-
acknowledge Kirby that he didn't make, even though, honestly, the new games are better than most of the ones he worked on.
Also, honestly, that's still better than how Sonic is treated music-wise.
Sonic isn't treated music.
Yeah.
That's
Sonic
yes.
doesn't have music.
Also, Sonic's a bad franchise and Kirby's a good franchise. So
What?
There,
What-
I can
He doesn't make
sleep
the
with that.
rules.
Yeah, that's fine.
What?
Yeah, that's fine.
What kind of nightmare fuel were the developers of this game drinking? First, we have the gaping head Mon. Now we have the toothy flesh boomerang.
yeah,
Yeah, this game sort of canonizes that Kirby is Majin Buu. Like he's just an amorphous blob that can just take pieces of himself and just throw them at people.
one of the best things I really liked about Forgotten Land is that like you finally got more of a idea of like what Kirby's like consistency is. Does that make sense? Because like you can tell that he's rubbery now. Because of how they like did the mouthful mode and stuff, and I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's neat.
And there's the bit where like the monkey boss like squeezes him between his fingers.
Yeah,
Just very elastic boy.
game's good. You should play it.
It's made of flubber, if anybody remembers that.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I always thought Flubber was more like Jello, only like Jello combined with like the stuff that they make those like slappy hands.
Which version of Flubber are we talking about? Are we talking about?
The Robin Williams.
Like
film.
there's 2 versions of
There's a
Flubber.
second.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
it's
know that
technically
either.
a remake.
Yeah, wasn't it a remake? Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
the
It's a
absent-minded.
remake? Hold on.
It's a remake
Yeah.
of a movie called The Absent-Minded Professor.
Hold on.
I'm probably good not knowing about that.
Oh
Honestly.
my god, this is real. Oh no, there's Son of Flubber. Whoa! Excuse me.
They tried to turn Flubber into a franchise.
No, but
did.
Son of Flubber came out in 1963.
Yeah, I know.
What?
The Parent
I
Trap is also a
looking-
remake.
Oh, I knew that one. Like Disney will just randomly be like, "Hey, we made this weird movie in the '60s when we didn't know what we were doing. Let's try that again." That's
It was
like
actually
their
a
favorite
movie
thing.
based on a book written in Germany, like right after World War II.
Yeah. They just remade Cheaper by the Dozen again. Because the Steve Martin version from the 2000s, that's the version I know. That one is a remake. But they remade it again.
Isn't there like another Freaky Friday coming out too? Even though that movie's been done like 4 times.
I probably look. They'll
Honestly,
put anything on
I
Disney
have
Plus.
I have no idea what the movie schedule is even about since the pandemic.
Sonic 2 happened.
Yeah,
That's
about
as much as I know.
Like,
and then maybe
Sonic,
some Marvel
like,
stuff.
Sonic 1 happened, and then I fell asleep. And when
2
I woke
years.
up, Sonic 2 was
Are
out.
people going to start recognizing time by Sonic the Hedgehog movies?
Spider-Man No
that's
Way
the
Home.
worst timeline. If
Spider-Man No Way Home happened at
Yeah,
some point.
that was a great thing. I'm glad I saw that in my dream.
But like, I only found out like when No Way Home came out because of people spoiling it on social media.
I still haven't watched it yet because it only. Oh, I've also never seen DDD do that attack before.
Which one, like the large hop?
Yeah, where he hops in this
This one?
game. Normally, like I just kind of kill him with a different power up really quick.
But you decided to be bad for the sake of footage.
Well, I never fought him with it. This was the power up I had, so I was like, sure. I know that if you let
actually
this
don't
fight
like
go
this
on
boner.
long enough, which is hard to do because he just kind of stands there. Like you know how his shirt has like the triangles on it, that will open up and those will be teeth,
Yep.
and it's terrifying.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah, it's a
like what
callback
the
to
Kirby
Dreamland
devs
3.
are on that makes them like make me want to bleach out my eyes, but you know.
Also, this is when I realized on the back, I didn't know until I was like an adult that on the back of his coat, that's supposed to be a peace sign.
Oh, I thought it was bunny ears for years.
I thought it was a bunny ear like for the longest time. It's a peace sign, which is weird because he never does it because he doesn't have fingers. But
He does it in the anime some.
Maybe that's why he has it in his bro, because he can't do it himself.
oh, you want?
See,
what
it's
you can't have.
ironic because he is a force for chaos in the
Yeah.
world as opposed to peace.
Let's discuss this. I feel this is important.
Look, a tree, let's set it on fire.
Because that was always a thing with Kirby, isn't it? Like, on the surface, it's always happy-go-lucky, and, like,
It does what every good JRPG does.
underneath
By
it,
the end, you're
there's
defeating
an
God.
eldritch horror that...
That's people joke, but that was the plot of Squeak Squad. Was Kirby wants cake is the first cutscene, and then Kirby defeats God is the end of the game.
Like, I mean, it obviously didn't start that way because the plot of Kirby's Dream Land 1 is King Dedede is a dick.
No, it starts with the Dark Matter trilogy.
No, well,
Like-
Superstar.
Nightmare and Adventure.
I never
kind of.
thought
Kind of.
Nightmare was creepy though. He's just kind
I
of
mean,
like
he's like this weird, like he's like big and human sized in the world of
Yeah.
fighting trees and a sun and a moon. He's like this big, imposing figure. He's not creepy, but he's a big, imposing
his
figure.
death animation's creepy though, where he like
Yeah, where he just, like-
disintegrates.
It's like evil
Yeah.
wizard. Pretty standard for NES games.
Was Dark Matter's
Yeah.
first appearance before Superstar? I can't remember.
Yes,
Dreamland
'cause
2,
Dreamland
yeah.
2
It was
came
Dreamland
out,
2.
then Superstar, then
And then
Yep.
Dreamland 3.
yeah. Dreamland 2 is interesting. It's probably like one of my. It's okay. I think I like it better than Dreamland 3, but it's still probably like in my bottom half of
I like
Kirby's.
It's the
I
only
like 3
Kirby
more.
game I remember actively disliking.
Dreamland 2.
Like, I got...
Really?
Yeah, I have similar issues with Dreamland 3, but I can vibe more with that. I love Dreamland 3's aesthetic.
Oh, the game's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love the way.
Dreamland 2 is like the biggest problem is they were like a little too ambitious. So the level design kind of feels a little all over the place, and
Yeah.
the collecting the rainbow shards is a pain. It's obnoxious. For as short as the game is, it's very obnoxious.
Collecting the rainbow drops wasn't so much of the issue, because, you know, every Kirby game has its collectathon element to it. I just felt that level design got really careless by the second half. It was very un-Kirby, and it was very unfun at that point. And it was it has the issue that it shares between Dreamland 2 and 3, where they take away some of Kirby's natural abilities to put emphasis on the animal friends, and I don't like when games do that, because individually it just makes Kirby seem weaker. And I can get down with it mechanically. I ended up really liking, what was the bird's name?
Cool.
Oh, Koo's
Koo,
theme's the
thank
best
you.
song in the game.
Yeah. I ended up really liking Koo and like the sort of combinations you could do with them, but it's like there needed to be more of this so that we can like keep the vibe going and just
Well, that's
keep the pace
what
going.
I think 64 does better. is that
That's what I mean though earlier. As I said that I think out of the 3 of the Dark Matter trilogy, 64 does it the best. It's still, I think, overall a little too slow for my liking. I like a fast.
It's definitely slower,
game.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing 2 has going for it. Dreamland 2 is that it's definitely the fastest of the 3 games.
I
would
forget,
say.
is Dreamland 2 the one with the woman outline shaped in blocks?
Yes, that is, with the woman with
that was one.
Yes.
I like that's a merit to remember a game.
I just felt like bringing it up.
Is this the one with the cooch?
I
forget.
still can't believe that's real. I just have to keep. I just keep googling.
No,
I'll randomly just Google like Kirby Dreamland 2 naked woman. I'm like, yep, that's it. That was a real thing.
If you do that, you're likely also gonna get like the bikini Easter egg in Yoshi's Island. I
There's a
think
bikini in Yoshi's Island.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a rock formation that is just the bottom half of a woman's body
Yep.
with like a bikini top.
And then when I put it on Twitter, people reminded me that in Banjo-Tooie.
Oh, the dick by Mumbo's
there's-
house in
yep.
Pterodactyl Inn.
Yep.
One thing that I love about that is then when you use Mumbo's ability to make the steps larger so you can get in and out of his house easier, it looks like the dick's now taking a piss.
Knowing Rare, that was probably intentional,
It was
though.
absolutely
100%.
That sounds absolutely intentional.
If you go to Jolly Roger's Lagoon in that game and look at the signs on the in the bar, like one's Toad in the Hole, and like a bunch of other weird British sex. What's the word for it?
Euphemisms?
Like, euphemisms, yeah.
Euphemisms?
Yeah. There you go, kids. That's your SAT word for the day.
That's a $2.50 word, not exactly a $5 word.
Yeah, you know. Being on BrainScratch comms lowers the value of it somewhat, so, you know.
Some saying watching this actively makes you stupid.
Oh, this is okay. So this is one of the most stressful parts of the game because that's the only electric enemy in the entire level, and if you kill it, it's gone. Well, no, it will respawn, but you can't get another rock, and you need rock electric in order to break this wall over here. So the amount.
You said it was one of the most stressful parts, but there were no enemies on your path.
Well,
to
no,
the thing,
it's because throwing the thing at it is like
Oh.
if you miss, you have to do the whole level all over again. I love Kirby 64. This game is still probably one of my top 3 favorite Kirby games. With that said, there are still some elements of it that have not aged the best. For one thing that I don't miss is not having the power that I need for the level in the level itself. There are a handful of times where you need to bring a power into a level.
Yeah, that's a big Dark Matter trilogy thing. Is like all 3 games are pretty obscure with how to get the things that you need, and then don't give you the right things at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say the only other thing that I particularly dislike about the game is that for as neat as the double combining powers thing is, a lot of them are very useless.
Yeah, it's more about the experimentation and the novelty factor, I guess is the best way to put it. Like it's just like, oh, what happens if you put together fire and ice? You melt as an ice cube. It's
And
just like,
nothing
okay,
happens,
that's
yeah.
funny. It doesn't really
But
do
it's
much,
useless.
but it is useless. A lot of them are better than you'd think they are. Like at first you think, oh, the fridge sucks, until you realize you can eat the food it drops and heal, you know, and stuff like that.
One of the things that I think is very much true of game design in general from the PlayStation N64 generation on back is that like design balance was kind of not a priority for anyone ever.
It was sort of like a playground mentality. Like,
Yeah.
just have fun with it because the game's gonna be 3 hours, but the more you get to experiment, that gets more time.
We also need to make something for this console because it's a new generation and we're going 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even like genres that we technically consider like nowadays, we consider balance to be a priority when evaluating them. You go back to that age and all the fighting games are like broken as shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I haven't played a lot of like 90s fighting games, but I assume stuff like Street Fighter 2 and like old Tekken, there are just some characters that are way better than
Yeah,
others.
they're horribly unbalanced.
I mean, you look at Melee also.
Oh, Melee is honestly,
Two
in many
characters.
ways, not a very well made.
Yeah,
game.
that's all it
There's
is.
two
Like,
characters in
It's
there.
like they really got away with it as a 2-character roster.
Yeah.
Nobody bitched back then.
You know, Star Fox Fighters is just, it's a really interesting concept, you know? I would like them to add Slippy and Peppy in the next entry, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
remember the tagline of Melee being "Everyone is somewhere else."
Look at the denim on Mario's pants.
But like in other genres, what this usually meant was that you got stuff like Kirby 64's weird, all over the place power-ups, or in an RPG you'd get shit like Knights of the Round.
Where it's just
To be
like,
fair, though, you had to work. You had to work for that, though. To be
yeah,
fair.
a lot of early RPGs were just about look at how many characters you can get versus how many characters of these are good. You see that a lot in Pokemon too. Pokemon still kind of has this problem where like, oh, there's 150 Pokemon to get. If we just count Final Evolutions, there's maybe like 15 actually worth using. But you use the ones you like because they're your favorites.
You could go after all 150, or you could just get to the end of the game and catch Mewtwo.
Yeah. That, I mean, if you were ever against somebody who was deep into Pokemon in Gen 1, their team was probably Mewtwo, Alakazam, Hypno, Executor, maybe not Executor. 'cause
Just a bunch of
Executor's-
psychic types.
Yeah. Because they were just objectively the best type in the game. And then they would have their own Jolteon with Pin Needle, because that's the only way that you could beat the other team's psychic types. So, there's that. But then you also got stuff like in the Final Fantasy games, you would get stuff like the Blue Mage, which is never really very good or takes too much work to be really worth it.
The Blue Mage is like a spell list that's 90% crap, but with 2 or 3 really excellent spells that you'll be using the entire game.
Yeah.
High level 5 death against Grand Dragons.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but you have to like grind every enemy until you find out which one's good. And like on your third playthrough, then it's a good character,
And
I know
that's how
that
they got you to buy the issue of Game Pro that outlined all the boss fights and all the blue magic spells.
But you couldn't even buy the strategy guide though, because they just would link you to a
No,
back
website
in
that
the
you
doesn't
can buy
exist.
the strategy guide.
Back in the day,
It's just that strategy guide. We'll just tell you to go to our website.
back in the day, magazines would have mini strategy guides for stuff like Final Fantasy. So I remember because like I really wanted Final Fantasy Anthology but couldn't get it for a while. I had the issues that had the guides for Final Fantasies 5 and 6. And it was
the whole games.
Yeah, it was like a really condensed walkthrough, but it was a walkthrough. Every boss.
That's actually
was-
pretty
yeah,
interesting
it's-
because
it's-
I'm so used to like Nintendo Power, for instance, like the Final Fantasy IV issue had like a mini guide up until like you get your first airship and it's like, all right, we ran out of pages. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I
Play the rest of the
remember.
game.
Like I remember there was one of the first Nintendo Powers I had like outlined Paper Mario, but just like chapters 7 and 8. None of the rest of it.
Just the end of the game.
Yeah, it's just the end game. Like, what the
Well, I
hell?
started my subscription to
Here's
Nintendo
our review
Power
of Paper
right
Mario.
before-
Here's how you beat Bowser.
Well,
My assumption is that they did because the game came out in like April of that year, and the first issue I got was like November, so I assume that they were doing that all.
Oh, you've
throughout
had
the
enough
year.
time to play this game. We're gonna spoil the end of it.
Yeah, well, you see, that's a thing where I kind of miss being a kid, because when you were a kid, a game like that lasted you like a year or two. Now I beat an RPG in like 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh.
well, I mean, they also just could have like split it up between multiple issues to keep you subscribed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know,
I do admire you saying you can beat an RPG in 3 weeks. Like that's just an adult thing. Like, man, I wish I could beat an RPG in 3 weeks.
It depends on the
like
RPG.
I'm not doing it down unless I'm like making a video for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It like Dragon Quest 11 did not take me 3 weeks. It took me like game came out in like November, and I beat it by the end of December, and that was all I was doing with my free time.
Oh Lord.
If it's like a 40-hour game, I can beat it in like 3 weeks. If that's most of the like what I'm doing in my free time is just playing
Madman.
that one RPG.